Welcome to Evolve with the Modern Caveman.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Evolve with the Modern Caveman. I'm your host, Gilbert Diaz, aka the Modern Caveman himself. And I just want to take this opportunity right now to just thank everybody for joining in on our very first podcast episode 101. And I also would like to thank you for just taking time out of your busy schedule and allowing me to just be a small part of your day. Time is your most valuable asset, and I want you to know that I do not take that time for granted, especially that you have chosen to spend it with me. I am very excited for the opportunity that I have right now to just spread a little bit of joy, a little bit of love, a little bit of value back into your life and help get you through your day, your week, your month, your year, or perhaps even help get you through some of those daily challenges that you may be currently experiencing in your life right now. It is my hope that in this podcast that I may inspire you, educate you, and motivate you to put your best foot forward so that you can engage the fullness of your potential. Today's episode is going to be a bit of an introductory episode, explaining more or less what this podcast is going to be all about. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Welcome to the evolution. Welcome to Evolve with the Modern Caveman. First and foremost, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Gilbert Diaz. My friends and family often refer to me by my nickname Gilly, but many others know me by the moniker that I have recently embraced, the Modern Caveman. More on that in a little bit. I am a proud father of 3 beautiful children, 2 of whom have autism. And I've been married to my beautiful wife, Yvette, for 14 years. I am a preacher. I am an author, a filmmaker, a producer, an entrepreneur, and a life and mindset coach. And prior to this podcast, I produced almost 200 episodes across 4 podcasts alongside my co-host in just under a year and a half. I grew up in the Bronx, New York, and I was born into public assistance and public housing. And throughout my life, I witnessed my family overcome the challenges and struggles that come from addiction, poverty, and limited education. And at the age of 15, I made the most significant decision that would change the course of my life forever by giving my life over to Christ and accepting His grace into my heart. I have since wrestled and struggled with God on a daily basis, and by His grace, He has won each and every time, successfully molding me into the man that He designed me to be. In spite of that, throughout my teenage years and my young adult life, I struggled deeply with the dark forces of depression that unfortunately many men do not speak of. And if you're not aware, June is Men's Mental Health Awareness. So if you know anybody who may be struggling, any man out there that may be struggling with mental health, please just reach out to them. Show them that you love them. I lived my life battling suicidal thoughts, anxiety, anger, even just a negative viewpoint of myself. Depression was my addiction, and I didn't know how to live without it. I hated myself. I felt unworthy of the air that was in my lungs, and I struggled to acknowledge my own self-worth, despite the fact that I had a loving family and a support system that constantly reassured me. As far as I was concerned, I was an imposter. I was impersonating the person that they thought that I was. And sooner or later, I feared that they would find out the truth. I had plenty to live for, but in the darkness, I believed the lie that life was better off without me. I attempted suicide on several occasions, And when that didn't work out for me, I decided to torture myself emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, essentially killing myself from the inside. I would often look out the window and see this big, beautiful world that I felt that I was just too broken to be a part of. I couldn't understand what was wrong with me. Why was I so flawed? Why couldn't I embrace the beauty that was within me? I felt like a failure, a waste of space. I was a good person. I did good things and people looked up to me, yet I couldn't see it. I couldn't understand what they saw in me. Then one day, one of my own kids expressed a very low and negative view of themselves to me. And I couldn't understand why they couldn't see how precious they really were. Then it dawned on me that they were learning these toxic traits and habits from me. I was infecting them with the darkness that had consumed me, and I was allowing it to happen. I couldn't let them go down the same path. I couldn't let them live their life from the seat of darkness. And I thought to myself one day that if I can infect them with darkness simply by them being a witness to my choices, then perhaps I can infect them with light by making a change. Now, I understood that change was possible because I watched my father do it. He successfully turned his life around from a life of alcohol and addiction for the sake of his own family. And he taught me that every day was a battle. But his choice to keep fighting was far greater than the option to give up. He taught me that I was in charge of my choices, and my choices will determine my life. And if I wanted to really change, I had to choose it. So I chose. I chose to find a better way. I chose to live. I chose to fight. I chose to change. But most importantly, I chose to evolve. Since then, for the past 4 years, I have been on a journey to teach others how to do the same, teaching them how they can evolve into the men and women that God created them to be. And just as my father taught me, every day has since been a battle, but it's my choice to keep fighting. It's my choice to keep on evolving. I will get into the origins of the modern caveman another time, perhaps in another episode. But the name modern caveman evolved over the course of the past 10 years, no pun intended. And the general concept of the name is basically emphasizing that the modern man, like his earlier ancestors, has continues to have the capacity to grow, to learn, to evolve. And we must do so in order to not just survive, but also thrive in this thing that we call life. I started using the moniker Modern Caveman to promote my business, but over time it became a part of my own identity, and I began to embrace the moniker. But the truth is, we're all modern cavemen. We're all capable of change. We're all capable of greatness. And most importantly, we're all capable of evolving. And that's what this podcast is all about. The purpose of this podcast is basically twofold. Number one is to nurture a healthy, positive, uplifting lifestyle that others can emulate and replicate. An evolutionary lifestyle that emphasizes the importance of exercising the fullness of your purpose and your potential. And then number two, the purpose of this podcast is to build a tribe, a community of people who are driven to constantly evolve in their own lives. A community of ordinary people, both men and women alike, who have decided to no longer be ordinary. A community of people who are just not satisfied with being average. It is my belief that every person, no matter of race, gender, social status, whether you were born with a disability or you belong to a different belief system, we are all capable of excellence and exceptionalism. I believe that greatness lives within each and every one of us, and exercising that greatness is essential to living a unique and fulfilled life. But the truth is, too many of us are just sitting and wasting away our potential. Too many of us are living these ritualistic, routine lives, dragging along with no sense of purpose or direction. We wake up in the morning, we eat some breakfast, we go to work, we come home, we probably eat some dinner, we watch a little television, and we go to bed, and we do it all over again the next morning in this kind of endless cycle. And sure, we have some moments of excitement sprinkled along the way, but most days we're just simply existing, just getting by. Then one day we find ourselves sitting on the hospital bed, and we can hear our heart beating on the monitor next to us, and our lives are flashing before our eyes, realizing and replaying all the opportunities we've wasted. We lay there with a heart full of regret, wishing that we took more chances, wishing that we took more risks and we weren't so comfortable or fearful of trying new things, wishing that we pursued more opportunities and experienced more out of this thing we call life, wishing that we had more time. And if we were just given one more shot, we will make the most out of the life that we were gifted. But the truth is, there are no second chances. And the one life that you have is the one life that you've got. So my question to you is, what are you doing with the one life that you have? Are you living it to its fullest? Are you enjoying every second of every moment that you have? Are you utilizing those unique gifts and talents that God gave you to accomplish your dreams, goals, and aspirations? Are you giving it your all? Are you fighting, striving, failing, falling, rising, winning, losing, evolving so that you can reach the fullness of your potential? Or are you doing the opposite? Do you have dreams, goals, and aspirations that you know that you were destined to accomplish, that you know that you were destined to become? It is yours for the taking, but you won't claim it. And instead of pursuing your purpose, you just are wasting away, too comfortable or fearful of the work it takes to make you the best that you can possibly be. Or are you perhaps this kind of person, the person who's tasted a little bit of success in their life, and instead of striving for more, you've grown a little satisfied, a little complacent. You've stopped growing. You've stopped grinding. You've stopped learning. You've stopped evolving. And you've settled for good, and good has become good enough. My question to you is, do you really want to be that person who is drawing their last breath, wishing they could have, would have, but didn't? Or do you want to finally live instead of exist? See, there are some lessons that I believe that we can take from our ancestors, the cavemen before us. See, the primitive caveman did not have the luxury of complacency and comfort. He or she could not afford to stop growing or to stop learning or to stop evolving. The survival of our species depended on their will to survive, to adapt, to learn, and most importantly, to evolve. And because of their tenacity, their strength, their courage, and their stubborn will to survive, mankind has evolved to become the most dominant and greatest species to ever walk the planet. At least that's my opinion. But something has happened. You see, the modern man has stopped growing. We've stopped evolving. See, we have become this civilized, self-domesticated version of our former selves, unable to recognize our true potential because we refuse to challenge the boundaries of mediocrity that we found ourselves trapped in. The modern man has become a self-loathing, self-doubting, self-absorbed creature who lacks any kind of self-confidence or self-awareness of the greatness that is living within them. They've forgotten their identity. We've forgotten our purpose. We've forgotten our primitive instinct to evolve. See, I believe that your best life is just beginning. And I want to encourage you to start your journey of excellence and greatness today so that you can reach higher levels of success, unlock limitless opportunities, and achieve and accomplish any goal, dream, or aspiration that you set. And more importantly, so that you can evolve into the next best version of yourself and live the life that you were always intended to live. In order to do this, we must break free of the chains of complacency and mediocrity that has civilized us and embrace the evolutionary instincts that brought mankind from the Stone Age into the modern age. We have to grow hungry again. We have to starve for the life that we desire. We have to hunt again, hunting for every opportunity available to us, taking possession of it and never letting go. We must practice dominance to bend every circumstance and obstacle, no matter how great or small it may be, to our will and advantage. We must become nomadic and never stop, always moving, always exploring, and always challenging ourselves for the better. We must control the fire of fear, that it does not consume us but empower us towards our destiny. And we must carve out a wheel of imagination so that we tackle every problem with a creative solution. We must learn to adapt again, learning to embrace change so that we aren't left behind and become extinct. We must return back to our roots, back to where it all began, into the cave, and leave our mark on the walls of life. We must unlearn the habits that have bound us, devolving so that we may evolve into the new version of ourselves, a perfect balance of the primitive caveman and the modern man. I call that the modern caveman. Now, the modern caveman is a lifestyle. It is a way of being. It's a way of life, evolving the modern caveman way. Being a modern caveman means no longer settling for good and only expecting greatness out of yourself. Being average is simply not acceptable, and you only expect excellence out of everything that you do. It means you are acknowledging that you are capable of excellence and of greatness. It means not being satisfied with complacency and mediocrity, seeking to strive for more, striving for better. Becoming a modern caveman means no longer making excuses, not allowing yourself to remain complacent by giving yourself reasons for not succeeding. It means taking control and responsibility of your life, of the very life that you have, and also embracing the consequences and results that it produces, both good and bad, beautiful or ugly. Coming to the being a modern caveman is also coming to the understanding that the life that you want is earned, not given. And it's up to you to create the life that you desire. And the only way to achieve the life that you desire is to choose it. It means not taking life for granted, treating every moment as if it was your last, and understanding that excellence is not just a necessary part of your existence, it is the only reason for your existence. Treating your dreams with the same respect as the air that you breathe. Without it, you aren't living. Fighting, bleeding, falling, failing, so that you can accomplish what you were created for. It means embracing your imagination and utilizing your creativity so that you can create something new and beautiful to express and challenge your excellence. Not accepting the lie that the sky is the limit and pushing past the boundaries of possibilities so that you can reach the stars. That the only limitation, understanding that the only limitation that exists is the limitations that you create in your own mind. As modern cavemen, we don't run from our fears, we embrace them, taking control of that power so that you may leverage it to scale your life. We don't allow fear to destroy us or consume us. Instead, we learn to use fear as a weapon, leaning into it, waging war with our former selves to free us from the bondage of the past. As modern cavemen, we must face the man in the mirror, acknowledging that you are far, far from perfect, embracing our imperfections, and taking charge and attacking our insecurities and anxieties, fighting against the dark forces of depression and disappointment, and minimizing regret in our life. Being a modern caveman means embracing your shortcomings and failures, learning from every mishap and mistake, turning losses into lessons, and learning that failures are momentary pauses in the process and a necessary part of the process, but not the end of the process. The only way we can truly fail is if we stop evolving. And here at Evolve, I want you to realize that you are worth so much. Understanding first and foremost that your personal worth is based on the value that we first give ourselves. We must constantly be striving to elevate ourselves by surrounding ourselves with people, places, and things that only pour more value into your life, giving more than they take, and separating ourselves from the people, places, and things that seek to drain us. Allow me to be the first to tell you that you are worthy of your happiness. You are worthy of your dreams. You are worthy of your desires. No matter the circumstances that brought you into this world, you are not a coincidence. Your life has meaning. You have a purpose, and it is necessary that you fulfill your purpose. If you have air in your lungs and a beating heart in your chest, you were intended for excellence. Here at Evolve, I want to help you develop an attitude of gratitude, appreciating the life that you have from the most obvious things to the most simplest things. Many unfortunately no longer have those opportunities. Their time has run out. The sand in their hourglass of life has stopped falling. Their clock has stopped ticking, but your clock is still ticking. And as long as it ticks, you have the opportunity to make this the best life lived. It's never too late. Appreciate every second that you have. Accept both the good and the bad times. And stop wasting those precious moments harping on the mistakes of the past. We must learn to forgive ourselves and to forgive others for the things that have been done to us, so that we can free ourselves and our minds and our hearts and allow us to explore a future free of regret, shame, and guilt. As modern cavemen, let us be good examples of what it means to be human, pouring value into other people's lives and bringing them along on the journey, guiding others to realize that their best lives are just one decision away, providing encouragement when times become rough, and tough love when we do something wrong, assisting each other to evolve by learning from each other's experiences and leaving behind a blueprint that others can follow. Here we aren't concerned about the finished product. We aren't we aren't concerned about the finished product. We are embracing the road in between, the evolution, the growth, the plot of the story that you're still writing. We accept the pressure, we receive the fire, we approve the pain, and we chisel ourselves into the masterpiece that we were always meant to be. This is the modern caveman way. As modern cavemen, we stand when we're called. Every opportunity provided is a chance to better ourselves, our circumstances, and the lives around us. We don't shy away from challenges. We embrace them and we use them as stepping stones to reach the next level. We were meant to stand out, to be unusual, because we know that it is the unusual people that change the world. We don't want to be like everybody else. We aren't concerned with fitting in. We don't care about impressing others. We are unique. We are unusual. We are misunderstood. We are modern cavemen. We don't give up. Our dreams, goals, and aspirations and our desires are built into our own existence. We keep fighting. We keep grinding. And more importantly, we keep evolving. True failure is not an option for us. We don't stop until we've exhausted every possible option. We don't stop until we've become who we were always meant to be. We hold each other accountable. We strengthen one another. We encourage one another. We build each other up. We learn from one another. We grow together. We move together. We create together. And more importantly, we evolve together. We are constantly challenging ourselves, and we don't wait for the opportunity to present itself. We create it. We take the risk. We fight the battles, and we embrace the trials. The greatest asset that we have is our mind. So it is important for us to keep sharpening our skills and learning new ones. By constantly learning from past experiences and from people who have done it before us. We must take action. We must do what is expected of us. Nothing less than greatness, Even when we fail, tumble, and fall, we do it with grace. We do it with honor. We do it with dignity. We keep running even when the race appears to be over. We give it our best no matter the task, never hesitating to give more. We keep evolving. It is our number one objective to perform better than we did yesterday, to become better than we were yesterday. We aren't just building our best life, we are living it. So the question that you probably have on your heart is, how do you join this evolution? How do you become a part of this modern caveman movement? To become a part of this lifestyle, you have to do just one thing. And it's the thing that my father taught me. You have to choose. Make a choice from this day forward that you are going to dedicate every second, every moment to building yourself up, challenging yourself to perfection, creating opportunities, directing your life. Choose to be great. Choose to be exceptional. Do what it takes to achieve what you want. I want you to realize that you have unimaginable power and you can do anything that you set your mind to. Take it one step at a time, one day at a time, and give yourself permission to fail, but also the drive to get back up. Fight, kill, endure, persevere, grow, but most importantly, evolve into the next best version of yourself. I would like to just thank you for joining me on this very first podcast episode. I hope that on this podcast I'm able to inspire you to step up and make a change in your life for the better. Here at Evolve, I believe that everyone is capable of greatness, and that includes you too. Let's stop making excuses that leave us in the same places that we left off, and let's start pursuing our purpose by exercising the fullness of our potential. I don't claim to have all the answers here, and all I can do is help you understand that everything that you can possibly need or want is already existing inside you. All that I ask of you, the listener, are just three very simple things. Number one, take what we discuss here into consideration and try to apply it to your life. Number two, if you find any value in anything that we discuss on this podcast, all I ask is that you please share this podcast and the content that I produce with a friend, a family member, or anyone that you think will benefit from any of these episodes. My goal here is to serve as many people as I possibly can, nothing more, nothing less. And by sharing this podcast, the podcast episodes, and my content, you will help me achieve that goal. And finally, number 3, engage me. Let me know what you think of the podcast by commenting on the episodes or any content that I produce. Share with me your experiences and let me know what types of subjects and content you would like to see next. I want you to know that your feedback is much appreciated and it helps me serve you more. And really, it helps me serve you at my very best. If you haven't already, follow me on Instagram for the most up-to-date Modern Caveman content. That is, you can find me on the handle Modern Caveman's Club. Okay, that is Modern Caveman's Club on Instagram. And so you could be up to date on the latest content that we produce there, and that can possibly even help you evolve into the next best version of yourself. We are also available on TikTok and soon to be on YouTube. These episodes from this podcast will also be available through all major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Pandora, just to name a few, and will soon also be available on YouTube. Remember to click the notification icon on both the podcast platform of your choice and on the social media pages so that you can be alerted anytime that we post new content. Don't forget to engage us by liking, sharing, and commenting on the content that you find beneficial. Welcome to the evolution here on the Evolve podcast as a valued listener, and we look forward to creating more content that will inspire, motivate, and encourage you to live your best life. And as always, remember to keep evolving the Modern Caveman way.